5x5 Toys, founded by Steve Plett, has finally released their much-anticipated Delta 17 toy line, and whether you want to mix it with your vintage G.I. Joe or have them on their own, I recommend that you get this before it sells out. Delta 17, as sculpted by Tommy Hodges and Jesse Sandifer, are a high-quality, very, very robust, and well-articulated toy line. Each figure has a head that swivels, waist joint that moves, the arms lift and rotate and flex, with the arms bending at the elbow, rotating at the bicep, and even at the wrist, allowing for more unique and dynamic posing. There's also an articulation point at the hip where you can move and articulate the figure, as well as at the knee, showing that this line had every ounce of care and thought put into where the points would be, especially considering that they use the exact same type of articulation among each and every figure. Officially founded in 2020, with concept art dating back all the way to 2019, Delta 17 has clearly been the creator's passion project, and thankfully the fruits of his labor have bore true, if that were the case. Each of the boxes are very well made, with the artwork and designs being very well thought out, with an informational file on the back of each one, as well as a cross-sell of each of the available action figures within the range. God darn it. And as you could probably tell from Shepard falling over, these figures are pretty much going to be flying out of their warehouses, so I'd recommend getting as many as you can, just like I have, because unfortunately I was only able to buy the 4 figures, as for this video. However, that mistake has been rectified immediately. A small item that I would also like to make clear is that Ken Poe of Toy Connections is a minor partner within the company. He hasn't told me to exactly say that, but he also left that as information for me to disclose at my own will. This is not to say that while my communications with Ken or Steve have influenced my decision on these action figures, they haven't. I genuinely believe that these are really good products. I genuinely believe that these action figures are going to do for the 3 3/4 inch community, along with stuff like the Skeletron O-Ring figures, and the soon-to-be released Operation Recall and Callsign Longbow, doing for 3 3/4 inch what Valaverse has done for 6 inch. In fact, me saying that Delta 17 is the action force of the 3 3/4 inch action figure line series is high praise from me. I genuinely believe in this company, as well as the men and women behind this project. I mean, for God's sakes, look at Death Sparrow. Her entire loadout is 100% military well, not 100%. They had to take artistic liberties with the character designs, but the weapon itself is 100% mil-spec with attachments that would be reasonably used by the Russian army, whether it's in the Cold War or the current day. And in fact, thanks to recent events, her spot as the bad guy is very much secure for the rest of her lifetime. All this talk of the characters, and I haven't even touched the story yet? Let's fix that problem. NATO allies have taken each of their Tier 1 operatives and sent them to their own special unit called Delta 17. This unit is specifically made to counteract the rise in extremism and terrorism from groups such as Retrograd and the new Dark Shadows organization, based in an undisclosed location within Japan. Committed to operations that don't happen in nations where they aren't, with men and women that don't exist. These special forces are dedicated to making sure the enemy falls where they raise, in the shadows. As of right now, the Delta 17 team includes the characters Shepard, Leonidas, Preacher, Rooster, Kestrel, as well as the Delta 17 Squad A and Squad B, which are the basic troop builders for the Delta 17 team. The Dark Shadows, as of this point, are Shadow Dragon, his second-in-command Jaguar, and the Okami, which are cybernetic soldiers, which are the, troop builders of that faction. and Retrograd, with Death Sparrow and the Thunder Battalion. The Thunder Battalion being the foot soldiers for Retrograd. And of course, Death Sparrow being its fierce commanding officer, taking no shit and making sure that everybody stays in line, or else they are punished severely. These characters, on their own, with their designs, look absolutely great. For example, I'm a huge fan of Leonidas' full sleeve tattoo, which covers the articulation in such a small fashion and is from one of two companies that are bothering to give us full sleeve tattoos, as well as a small dog that can peg onto the back of the backpack and a removable dog bowl, which I just think is genuinely charming. It's a piece of detail that didn't even need to be done. They didn't need to make the dog nor the bag nor the bowl removable from either or. But it's still very much appreciated. Although I do have a minor gripe with Leonidas, as his arm raises to a 75% angle instead of the full 90 degrees. It's not a deal breaker, but when you can see when you can see Death Sparrow holding her weapon at a perfect 90-degree angle, it kind of makes you wish that Leonidas stopped working on Arm Day and focused a little bit more on the legs. Although, I don't think if he were here as a real person, he would take too kindly to that. And as you can see perfectly, they blend. I only have a handful of 3 3/4 O-ring style action figures, as well as one Palitoy inspired 5 POA action figure, and as you can see, they perfectly fit among their peers, almost as if nothing was out of place. And of course, because of who I am, I had to drop Desert Rat, as my grip isn't necessarily the best. Fiddlingly enough, he also defeated the bad guy. Hooray! But, as you can see, all of these figures blend in really well with each other. There's not a pickle out of place. And, in fact, I'd really recommend getting these. They make as really great alternate troops for your Joes, as well as just great bad guys in general. In fact, in order to really complete this display, I've got to take everybody out of the box. I'll be back. And as you can see, with all of them standing together, they all look absolutely amazing. In fact, with each character, they come with a few accessories. As per usual with any action figure line, we already went over Leonidas' M4, dog, and dog bowl, as well as Death Sparrow's AK-47 and backpack. However, Kestrel and Shepard also come with some very unique equipment. Kestrel coming with a M4 with an underslung grenade launcher and ACOG optic, as well as a backpack that can fit a removable knife. Shepard himself comes with his own M4 with a C-clamp magazine, as well as a dual-sight optic with an ACOG in front of a smaller red dot, as well as the KSG-12 pump-action double-barrel shotgun, which can slide right onto his backpack. His helmet is also removable with night vision goggles that can obviously be replaced. Into the active position, just to let you know when he's going dark. Although I can't help but feel a little bit chuffed whenever I see Shepard, as he reminds me of a certain LT from a video game franchise, which is debatably in some hot water with fans right now. Though I'd be a little remiss if I didn't say that I didn't have an obvious favorite. Kestrel being my favorite simply because of that determined, cheeky smile that she carries, along with Death Sparrow being one of my other favorites, specifically because Kestrel's Polish and, well, Death Sparrow's Russian. You can kind of see why it's my favorite if you are truly as enamored with history as I am, knowing that each battle with Delta 17 facing off against Retrograd feels very personal between the two of them. Leonidas is also up there considering, well, dog. He's got a dog. It's the first ever small accessory that can be removable from from his backpack that genuinely is just charming. It's not specifically because the dog is a part of the team, it's just because Leonidas found a puppy, wanted to take the puppy, and has him resting on his back whenever he goes on operations. With the removable dog bowl, that's just an added bonus of charming love of the biggest, burliest, most operator-looking operator. And then, of course, we have, Shepard, with his tactical black and red balaclava, cool sunnies, as well as the obvious need to have the slickest design within the team, as he is the company's leader. Obviously, I've gotten the rest, and they're already on shipment, and I am very much anticipating future waves and more characters, especially considering that the line is so just made to be expansive. The line itself is made for this story, and the story itself is just a perfect way to expand the world and show off different companies, military companies, platoons, squadrons, and expand the range into something that can be truly unique. Maybe something on the same level or that can rival G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and before we sign off, I'd like to give a special thank you to Ken Poe, who was very instrumental in gaining the knowledge necessary for this video, as well as Not Top Goon and Ryan from 3POA Podcast, who have very specific deadlines and schedules to keep for their content, and it really gave me a kick in the ass to do the same. I would also like to leave you off with something given to me by Ken and Steve. A thank you to everybody. It reads thusly: Thank you to everyone who has supported us so far. Since JoeFest 2023, we have had a lot of interest in the line, and the initial feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We are new at this, and in the end, we are collectors just like the rest of you. What can we say is we'll keep our promise to do our best to produce the best toys possible. Here's to a long future for Delta 17. Ken and Steve. And with that, I can agree. These products are genuinely high quality, and I wouldn't trade these products for anything in the world. Especially considering that the line itself is truly unique, with no namesake history attached to it, no other brands attached to it, and it not being crossed over with anything such as a video game or comic book. Although there is going to be a comic book released Sunday, as well as a JoeFest exclusive recolor of an action figure for this year's upcoming Augusta Toy Show. I'm personally excited for everything that Delta 17 has to offer. Hell, they're even giving us a vehicle. They're giving us a Hind. That's insane. So as one of two companies at this point that are giving us a really awesome vehicle for a new boutique toy line, I can only hope that the future contains way more. Specifically, playsets. Come on. Who wouldn't want to see a Delta 17 headquarters or a retrograd-style bivouac? That would truly have a battle within the shadows. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to follow everyone on their social medias down below. And as always, stay blue.